More than I need, what you want, girl, it's yours. Give me your feelings, I just can't ignore. 'Cause all I want is you, baby. Give me your time, all your love, I've been paying.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Russell the Fourth.
Hey everybody, it's me, Brandy.
And welcome to another episode of the What They Never Told Us podcast. We back. Turn it up. Back like we never left.
So hopefully those of you who will be seeing this episode, like physically seeing it, you didn't think that we just abandoned you. I know that some people just solely rely on YouTube for the podcast or the clips that they see on social media to take them actually to the podcast. We have been having some technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen.
There was a long-time listener who reached out and was like, man, I got to fix my algorithm on YouTube because y'all not even popping up. Yeah. And I wanted to be like, we not popping up because we ain't there, sis. we not there.
We've been in the trenches lately, and even the last live episode. So usually we post 2 episodes a week. You guys did not get a second episode last week. It was only available on Facebook. Like, it wasn't even on YouTube, which is what we usually do, Facebook and YouTube live. So listen, we sincerely apologize. It has been of no fault of our own. We are really, really trying to make sure that everything comes together this week so that you have audio, video, social media clips, lives, all that in preparation for
we didn't
Christmas.
even get to post the audio. We usually post the audio from the lives that we do on Facebook and YouTube.
Oh, that's right.
On streaming platforms. On all fronts, on all cylinders, we are getting attacked by the enemy, but the devil is a liar. This battle is not ours. Amen. It is the Lord's, and you are a defeated foe, sir.
And you are under our feet. You have no more territory here.
I'm so upset.
You tried to come in and cause frustration, but
goodness.
we rebuke you, Satan, in the name of Jesus.
And listen, for those of you guys who've been with us from the jump, y'all know. Y'all been with us when we had no experience editing videos.
No, them is the ones that's like, okay, y'all in the 5th season. Y'all need to get it together. They done been through the trenches. They tired of being in the trenches. They like, get it together.
For those of y'all who I know, I promise y'all we gonna get it together. Lord.
This is part of being a family. You know, family is dysfunctional. Our equipment is dysfunctional. We dysfunctional.
We
like,
nothing. There's no dysfunction here
dysfunctional.
at all. No dysfunction. But I truly believe that the more opposition that we encounter in anybody, I feel like the more opposition anybody encounters, and I'm talking about the stuff that you can't really put your finger on, it's starting to make no sense. It's outside of your control. I feel like the degree to which the enemy's trying to stop you is indication of what God has for you and how important it is what you're doing. So
absolutely.
Go
ahead. I was going to say, we've been working really hard on like becoming professional, like raising our standards up to a professional. We got rid of the orange wall. We got rid of the lackluster things. And then soon as we tried to go to a new level and what we put out, it's like a new level, a new devil. Like, I think season 4, minus the Russell forgot to push the button on the video, we like had flawless execution.
It was flawless execution. But we were having issues last season too. It was during the editing. We worked through them.
Yes.
And then it got to the point where it just started going by the wayside.
But this is why we need a producer.
This is why we need a producer.
This is
Ryan.
Why it's all Ryan's fault.
Ryan.
So.
I talked to him yesterday. He was like, man, I'm so sorry.
Hey, we're going to give out his email address at the end so you guys can message him
and let him know. He said he would still produce from where he's at. So we might just need to be sending him the episodes, letting him do his thing. Because the homies are struggling over here, bro.
It's too much.
But we appreciate everybody who's just been supporting us through it all. And all you guys who reach out to us and let us know the impact we're having with you and how much you guys have become like family. It's encouraging.
You know what my favorite thing is when we go live on Thursdays and there are new people in the chat room or whatever it's called now. I feel so old.
Like I finally made it to a
chat room. That's like, I finally made it. I've been watching y'all on whatever, listening to y'all, and then they begin to tell, either the impact or what the show means to them. Like, that is the best to me. I love interacting. I told Russell, my favorite part of this is the live. Like, that's what I miss when we go away. I love kicking it with y'all, and I love feeling like none of this is in vain, because it's a struggle sometimes.
It's hard work. It's hard work, and
I really appreciate.
It can take the wind out your sails a lot of times.
Yeah.
If you have never been to a What They Never Told Us live,
You're missing.
listen
out.
to me. You are missing out on what the experience is. Don't get me wrong. We love the podcast. We love just doing these episodes and kicking it to y'all and kicking it with each other. But the lives is literally where the podcast started at. You know, if you know the story, just going live on Facebook, and it created something. So that's really what the vibe is. You got to come. Shameless plug, 8:30 p.m. ish Eastern Standard Time, Facebook and YouTube. Hopefully we'll be on both of those. We can get back online. Speaking about faith, we will be. But either way, join us, please.
Yeah, I told Russell all the episodes should just be live. Like, we should just record everything with y'all, because I feel like the dialogue is better. Being able to laugh with other people and getting their feedback.
Gotta give 'em
To
something
me,
to
that
look forward to.
makes the episode. I love
It's
our
a different
live
experience.
episodes.
It's a different experience for sure. I do too.
So come join us and make it even better if you were there with us. So that's a shameless plug for Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. ish Eastern Standard Time. We'll be live on Facebook and YouTube. Yeah, every Thursday.
Absolutely. Hope everybody's doing well. Christmas, 1 week away.
9 days, I think.
9 days. And by the time you listen to this, it's probably going to be 8. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. I don't know.
No, it's probably 7 days now. I don't know how many.
Yeah.
It's next Monday. So if it's today's Monday, then 7 days.
Got so much stuff to get. Christmas shopping barely got a dent in it. I feel like we got our major ticket things.
Absolutely.
But-
We bought big stuff, which is good.
But we got to make the tree look like something underneath it. So we just got to fill it up.
We are those people who every other year we do Christmas shopping like the check before Christmas. Like whatever that Friday is before Christmas.
We gotta
get
do
paid.
better.
We got to do this. So all this year we've been like, we need to start Christmas shopping.
I've been
We
saying
need to be
it.
looking out.
I said this in the summertime. We can't wait till last minute to do Christmas shopping.
And then here it is, the last minute. And we still trying
Just
to figure out. But
foolishness.
I will say this. It's not all our fault, because our kids have been like, I don't know. Can maybe
But but we don't even have to worry about the stress of what do you want if we're done.
that's true.
I want
they just
to-
get what they
well,
get. We're already finished.
we're done
in
Christmas
February.
shopping, so sorry. Like, honestly, we could be putting that pressure on them early. Like, look, it's too late. Christmas shopping is done.
Christmas died, yeah.
And if we do feel like we can get you a little something extra, it's cool. Ain't no pressure, because we don't got to worry about buying everybody gifts on this last check.
And if you can't fit them shoes, then too bad, because we bought them back then, and you gonna make them work.
Better squeeze in them. Nah.
I feel like doing it for Nia would be so easy, because she's still
Except for
in the
clothes.
like, yeah, except for clothes. She's
Yeah.
still in the, like, I love everything phase. Whatever you
ain't
got me,
tripping
I
on her.
love it. So
Yeah.
we could definitely be picking up stuff for her throughout
Absolutely.
the year. The other
Absolutely.
kids, the bigger kids, they about to just start getting gift cards at this point.
It's that, yeah, and it's that weird phase where they don't like toys no more.
And everything they do is on
but
their
they don't
phone.
like clothes enough.
Yeah.
Like,
well, one does, but
one does. I'd say both of yours. Like, I feel like she definitely like our baby. She definitely likes toys more, but she can appreciate a nice
yeah,
boot.
for sure. For sure.
You get her a nice boot.
She will be so excited.
I love it. Like, she's girly
She
enough to
come up,
like.
Mommy, can I wear my boots?
Like, she appreciates a good boot, and our, Bray is just too cool for school. He'll love him some J's, some retros. He can appreciate clothes, but them other ones, they're just like, yeah, cool, whatever. I guess it's just gift card season. I guess I don't know.
You got me socks. Like, is there anything else in here?
Yeah, for those of y'all who are like us, listen. Godspeed this last week, finishing up your Christmas shopping and all that. But overall of that, like, just enjoy family. Like, I'm learning to lean into this new season, of blended family, different traditions, like what Christmas looked like all these years before. It's different now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Russell Lyon. He was just with all the kids on Sunday. He was like, I'm never doing that again.
By myself. I am never being with all them kids by myself again. Ever. Ever. And I don't know how it keeps being me.
I was setting up for our church Christmas party. He came in so stressed out. I was like, what happened? He was like, I'm never being alone with all them kids again.
Again, like, I'm just not gonna do it. I was gonna fight a kid. And I'm almost positive it wasn't even that deep, but I was through. It was just a bunch of like little things that just kept working my nerve. They were kept complaining. They everything. So the Christmas party, they got food there. We want McDonald's. We literally, there's a Christmas party now. I'm not buying you food. Can we just get a small fry? I'm so irritated. So then look, you know they got Cash App now.
Yeah.
Got their little cash cards.
So now they want to
So
buy
he
stuff.
said, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Pulled out the money. Boom. Turned the car. I didn't even give you the details.
No,
of what
you
happened.
did.
Turned it around. I had like $50. He said, I'll buy it.
Right?
I said, no, this Cinco.
Oh, okay.
I said, okay. So I started driving there. I said, well, if you're going to buy, that's good. I'm proud of you, man. That's good. So we halfway there, and I guess he started thinking about it. He said, like, how much will that be? I said, well, if you're talking about like small fry, he said, well, I want like a nugget too. I said, so if you get like a nugget, small fry for everybody gets a drink. I said, about like $20-something. He said, nah, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I'm not buying y'all no McDonald's. I said, I'm already halfway there. He was like, nah, I'm not doing it. He said, I only got what I said, you got $50. He said, well, no, it's more like $49. And if it's like $25, that's like half my money. So I was like,
He started to panic. He was like, what did I
so
do?
then everybody got attitude. You know, it was just a mess. It was just a mess. And that's just a small.
So did you end up buying McDonald's?
No.
You just left.
No, I stuck to my principles. I'm not buying y'all no McDonald's. I said it. But then I felt bad in the night. You know, I went to go get everybody small fries. Anyway, I'm not doing no more. And how does it keep being me?
Because I got stuff to do.
Like, how do I keep getting
I
left
got stuff to do.
with the kids? Have you ever been with all of them?
Yes. You the kid
Without
person.
me?
Yes.
You've been with my kids without me?
Yes.
When?
When you went to the studio that one time.
I never went to the studio when they were here.
Yes, you have.
No, you told me
Yes.
you would prefer. I didn't. I
Right,
canceled the
but
session.
you have done it before.
With
you did.
Cinco and Lily there,
Yes.
and I left.
Yes. Period. Yes. And like
I
when you just go,
don't
like,
remember
when
that.
you're like, hey, I need to go get some footage from Baby Bear or whatever. All the kids
I don't
have
mean.
been here.
No, see, I'm good with errands.
So what you mean?
I'm talking about like Houston. Like when you went to the thing. I'm taking a trip. I want to go on a trip when you got all the kids.
Go. But the problem is your kids don't want to come over here when you're not here.
You don't know
and
that.
you won't make them.
I will. Just for you.
That's a lie.
I will.
It's a lie.
I will.
Just like when you went to Virginia. I'm like, hey, are the kids still coming? Nah, they not coming. Like, they come
I'm doing
over
you
here
a
for
favor.
you.
I'm doing you a favor. Next time you got a trip, make your kids go somewhere.
They come over here for you.
Woo.
You'll be all right.
I
I feel like
I was tired.
the whole traditional mom has to take care of the kids thing is changing. I be moving and shaking. I'm in the workplace.
You are
I'm
not
in the
workplace. You work from home.
First of all, I go to work on Mondays. Thank you very much.
You work one day a week.
Do not try to shame
I'm
me.
in the marketplace.
Do not try to shame me. I am in ministry. I be doing stuff.
You go to Myers. You are not in the
Go
marketplace.
ahead
Think
and
about
be
something.
the stay-at-home dad.
This is beyond me.
But you survived.
I guess. I don't know.
So it probably didn't help that I called and was like, where are y'all?
No, it didn't. You think I was irritated?
No, I couldn't. I just was
I
trying to
was
figure
so
out what was
irritated.
happening.
Where you? We're here.
Like, what I'm saying, like,
Okay. Why? Because we haven't left yet.
why? But why?
Because we're still here.
Like, I
Okay,
couldn't
are you
figure
coming?
it out.
Yes.
Have you got the materials that you're supposed to bring?
No.
What have you been doing for an hour and a half?
I've been in the fight of my life. Okay. I've been in the fight of my life. So you give me the third degree about where I'm at. We'll get there when we get there.
I'm like, just don't even bring the stuff. Just come. Like right now, we just need bodies. Get here.
And that
We
set
got
me
stuff
over.
to be done.
You said you got the stuff. I was like, I forgot all about it.
You forgot?
Forgot it. I wasn't gonna get it no way.
Why?
Because I forgot until you said something.
Okay, I thought you were saying you had made up in your mind that you wasn't.
No, I
getting
just forgot. And then when you said something, I was just like, now I gotta go to the store with all these kids. Woo! No.
I looked in the cooler. I'm like, you know what? We got enough pop. Just come on. Just get here, please.
Lord. Survived. All right. So what's on the agenda?
Well, so it's almost in line with what we were talking about here today. It's like gender roles and things like that. And we did go down the road maybe an episode or two ago about something like this, but not exactly this. I saw another conversation on Facebook. I feel like I'm getting all my topics now from social media.
Come on.
But it's screenshots of a conversation that a man and a woman were having. Sound like they were newly dating and doing what we highly encourage here, which is have the conversation, talk about your expectations. What do you expect out of a girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband? And they were having this conversation. So I thought it would be a good idea idea for us to read this conversation as if we were those people and then kind of let the conversation go where it might.
If anybody listening is like, into audio drama podcasts or like
It ain't gonna be
movies, please hit me up. whattheynevertolduspod@gmail.com if you'd like to book us. Okay.
Not us. Russell
Us.
thinks that he's like this thespian in the making, which I'm trying to tell him that it ain't that. You are very talented. But
I'm Tyler. I am young Tyler Perry.
it ain't that, bro.
I am him.
All right, you go. So the man leads it off.
Can I say, this is a bit of a cold read. I kind of glanced over it, but I had not read this through. So if I'm fumbling over my words,
That's why I told you to prepare.
I want to have an element of like,
Oh, he said that.
huh?
You're going to be like, oh, he said that. Then you're going to be trying to react to what he said when that's not the point. You should have read
It's all
it in the
good. No,
beginning.
I'm on it. Let's go.
All
So
right,
which bubbles am I?
Oh, sorry. I start first. I'm blue. You're gray.
No, you're wrong. In terms of expectations from a woman? Like,
Yes. I'm blue. You're gray, which is why you should have read it before we got here.
it's all good. Come on, let's go.
All right. I guess I was just wondering what your expectations are from a partner.
Like, in terms of expectations from women?
Or men. I don't know. You swing?
Women, not men.
Okay. Then, yeah. What are your expectations for your girlfriend or whatever?
Can I be honest about it? It might be seen as outdated or something.
Yeah, of course. This is a judgment-free zone.
Honestly, I'm looking for a traditionally feminine woman. Someone who isn't going to mind being a child rearer and homemaker. Someone who's going to take care of her appearance and herself and just all around is content to be a female in our relationship. I know that's like real pretty anti-feminist or whatever, but it's just how I feel.
Oh, slay. I don't think that's anti-feminist or outdated at all. To be honest, that's pretty similar to what I want too. It's kind of a dream if I'm being honest.
Really?
It's not swiping, y'all.
Page 2.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I love to be able to focus on making my house a home, working on myself, or just being taken care of without having to stress about expenses or money.
What you mean?
Just like I love a traditional man who's going to cover my expenses and make sure I'm getting what I want, someone who brings that kind of masculine energy.
So you're just looking for a guy who isn't going to mind buying you whatever you want and basically will bankroll your whole life?
I don't know if I put it like that.
So you're basically a gold digger user, basically.
More like someone who will take care of our family financially so that I can take care of him and his kids, etc. Oh.
So you're a gold digger, basically what you're saying.
No, I promise. How is that any different from you wanting your girlfriend or wife to take care of a home and your kids? It kind of feels like a double standard for you to call me a gold digger.
It's not a double standard. It's different because the things that I'm looking for, emotionally stable, takes care of herself, good with kids, are inherently female traits. Good women naturally have that stuff. You're looking for some rich guy who can buy you stuff. That's not naturally part of being a guy. It's totally different. I mean, especially because of how expensive life is in general these days. You think I'm going to be able to afford a $500,000 house on one salary just so you can play dress up and not have to worry about a job? You expect to not contribute to the bills or the cost of living? Forget you. I knew there was something wrong with you. No wonder you tried to humiliate me at the restaurant. I should have left right then and there.
My guy, chill out. I never said I was looking for a rich guy or a $500,000 house or anything like that. Just that I want a guy who can take care of me, especially if I'm raising his kids. How can your dream woman be a homemaker, a child rearer, if she is actually working full time and paying the bill to pay the bills? I have absolutely no issue with gender roles or division of labor in a relationship, but you're not looking for a traditional woman. You're looking for a maid and a nanny who also can help pay your bills.
Like I said, forget you. Just say you were only interested in me for my money. Next time you match with some sucker, tell him that up front so he doesn't have to waste his time with you.
I paid for my own food last night, my guy. What do you mean interested in you for your money?
Shut up.
Kamsai.
my comp sci degree is gonna do way more for me than your business one ever will. B word.
I told you we didn't have to read this part.
This dude is out of pocket. It's told me
Told
off.
you.
You're right. I'm sorry.
I told you.
Now I know why you're getting a finance degree. Probably so you can scout out the rich guys and try and steal their money.
If you're going to curse me out and call me a gold digger because I want a traditional man, even though you said you want a traditional woman, shaking my head, it tells me you're not the type of guy I'm looking for. Lose my number, but I hope you have a good life.
Hey, first of all, this is so rigged. This is not a real conversation.
It is a real conversation.
And then this is how I hate how they paying this dude to be, because at 1:22 a.m. in the morning, he texted and said, "Hey, you up right now?" After
That's a
saying
real
F and B word.
conversation. That's a
This
real
can't- This is
conversation.
not a real human being.
Men have a lot of audacity.
This
these
is a
days.
girl who had 2 phones and said, "Oh, this is gonna go viral." That's what I think.
First of all, no.
How did he get so back on her B word and all that? Like, out of all that,
So, real talk, it has been many a women who will watch this podcast and know that that is real life, because you can get called a B word just from ignoring a guy. He like, "Hey, yo, ma, what's up? What's good? Like, you don't hear me talking to you? Ma. All right then, B." Like, it go to from 0 to 100 real quick when they not getting what they want.
it just boggles my mind how trash people can be.
It's real.
I just hate it. I hate it. All right. So, number one, I felt like maybe we should do it again. My energy, maybe I didn't understand my character, his
It's because you didn't
motivations.
prepare.
I did a cold read.
It's because
Okay.
you didn't prepare. Okay.
Nah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
So I think. Oh, were you were you about to go into something?
Yeah.
My bad. Go ahead.
So essentially, I guess I'm just trying to summarize what it was about.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a guy who wants a traditional woman, but he doesn't want to be a traditional man.
Essentially, yes. It's
Okay.
about having an expectation from one side, but then not living up to your partner's expectation.
Here is my gripe with the traditional value system of the gender roles.
Yes.
We need to have a conversation about if that is realistic in today's marketplace, in today's economy. Is it possible to be a one income household
So
and live the life that people want to live?
right, we kind of started that conversation, like I said, a few episodes back where
It was the last live.
where we were talking about just if you stopped working, or if I stopped working and we solely relied on your income
Yeah.
as you as a provider in that traditional way, what would our household look like? What would many household looks like when, especially in the Black community, Black women outrank men in pay
Yeah.
and educational level? Like, what does that look like for your family now if we're looking at those traditional roles?
Yeah.
I do believe that some people can make that work. I don't know if in the average American income, what Black, white, Hispanic, whatever you are,
It's not possible.
if it's possible. But I think that we see people, we know people who live this lifestyle, who wife is stay at home mom or whatever. She may have like a side business or a side hustle or something like that. And the man is the breadwinner.
Yeah.
We know people like that. So we know that it's possible, but I think it's the exception nowadays and not necessarily the rule. Whereas in 50 years ago, it was the rule. Like, this is what happens. The women stay home, they stay barefoot and in the kitchen, and the man goes out and wins the money. I just don't think that the world works that way anymore.
Yeah, I just feel like specifically from the Black family perspective, like I said, nowadays the number of women outnumber the men. Like,
True. Mass incarceration and death have taken a lot of our
yeah.
prospects off the table for us.
So the harsh reality is that there are a lot of Black women who will never be married. If
they choose to marry a Black man.
if they choose to marry a Black man. And honestly, just in reality, like, even if you say, hey, I'm open to date anybody. Now we're talking about the number of people from other cultures. Like, yeah, I don't care either, and the fact that they'll be compatible and it'll be a fruitful.
So the
like,
number increases, but
yeah,
not
but
drastically.
not drastically. You know what I mean? So there's that. Now you take the fact that women in our culture right now are more educated and they're higher paid in most positions. when you look at how it was back then, the average black family didn't have a car. They relied on public transportation. Most of the times their jobs were in their community, right? So the shop or the factory was blocks away.
Yeah.
The bus ride there, bus back, it's low expense. Nowadays, I know dudes who's driving 40 minutes to get to their job, 30 minutes to get to their job. If they work in town, it's not mostly, especially in a small town, like there's not a whole lot of, it's just not realistic. And there's so many different factors as to why it's not realistic for everybody. For the CEO, the VP, maybe in corporate positions where you're higher up on the ladder, okay, yeah. But for the school teacher, for the barber, for the guy who works in the factory, it's not as realistic. You know what I mean?
I think too, but in this day of social media and keeping up with the Joneses and what's trendy and what you're supposed to wear and what you're supposed to drive, that it takes that more out of the realm of possibility because everybody wants to be the flyest person on the block. And if I am relying on my school teacher husband's salary, my life may not look like that, right? My kids may not be able to have every pair of new Jordans, and now they getting picked on at school, and now all of these things are happening as a result of the fact that we want to create this traditional home. So I do think that just society in general, if you take it outside of the black community, I'm just saying what we expect to give our children, what our children expect from us, what people will say is a good quality of life versus what we think is a good quality of life. If I don't live in a certain house, if I don't drive a certain car, then you're looked at as not doing well. Yeah. And most people just don't want to look like they're not doing well. Absolutely. So in order to not look like that, to not have that appearance, we will work ourselves to death. And now even if I am the wife that wants to stay at home, my husband is like, look, nah, I want a Mercedes CL, whatever, 500. Like, absolutely. Nah, you got to go to work, boo. I want you to have your hair and your nails done. I want you to look the part. So in order for us to do that, you got to work too. Man. I just think that society and the picture of what a family and what life looks like now,
the compulsion to look like something is such a detriment. I work and I'll see kids who I know are struggling, that the meal that they get at school is so important to them because they don't know if they're going to eat a good meal at home, who literally will pitch in to get them food, pantry, but they got $200 sneakers on. And I'm like, your shoes cost more than mine and you don't know how you're going to eat tonight. But it's about looking like
you got something.
You got it. And it's just, it's crazy to me that people will choose to live in a lower state of living just to appear as though they're not.
I mean, we see it all the time on social media. You look like you live one way, but your life is in shambles. And especially for people who have a spotlight on them already, maybe not a full celebrity, but like a reality star where you're doing so much to just make it look like you belong in the places where you are. Yeah. And then you hear about them living on the street or living with somebody else because they're just trying to keep up with the Joneses. So I am participating in a mentorship program for young girls at a high school. And I see it in the high school. When I come in that room, the first thing that they ask me, let me see your nails. Who does your hair? Where you get your lashes done? Like, that's what they care about. Yeah. And for me coming in, I do dress a certain way when I go there because I know what they're looking for in someone that they'll relate to. So I could go there in my business attire, but it makes me standoffish to them because most of those girls don't aspire to be business women yet, right? It's once we start having those conversations where the organization that I work for is Pretty Brown Girls. So we're trying to teach them that you being a pretty brown girl is more than just what you look like. Yeah. But that's what attracts them at first. They're attracted to the shiny things, the new things, the things that look like, oh, how long you had your Apple Watch? What series is that? And I can't even answer half of them questions. But I'm like, okay, I got your attention now. You see I look fly. All right, cool. Now let's have a conversation and go deeper. But in order to even reach them, you have to come on their level. And I think that social media is completely traumatizing our kids in ways that they don't even know yet. Because once they get older and realize that like this is not life, and it's going to be a rude awakening for them.
It's that, and more so than social media, it's the human heart. You know what I mean? Like right now we just have access to see other people.
Yes.
Now, whether or not they're really living like that, or maybe they really are living like that, it just gives us the ability to see it. Whereas before social media, only thing we saw was what was around us.
Right.
So the people who you live next door to, the people you went to school with, the people in your community were the people that you saw.
Yeah.
Right? That's like, okay, cool. Hey, this guy got money. Like, that looks cool. Or everybody live like this, so I'm not really tripping. But when you can log on and see the guy who, you know, appears like he has everything, then it awakens.
Rich off of TikTok.
It awakens this, like, envy. It awakens this spirit of covetousness where it's like, man, I want that. How come he got that and I don't got that? And human heart, man, it's just an issue. I will say in the skit, though, this guy, although he was a nincompoop, he was a buffoon, but he said one thing that I think he kind of stumbled on a point, at least that's worth exploring and talking about. He said, I don't know how he said it, but he said, nah, you can't compare the two because there are some things in the gender roles that are just inherently feminine.
Oh, that was genius.
And some things that are inherently masculine.
That was one of those things that made me like,
not his point, but there are some aspects about the gender roles that I think are just based in tradition and this is how they used to do it. While there are some things that are there because they're more inherently a masculine or a feminine thing, right? Like most of the time, you'll see the person in the relationship who takes out the garbage is the guy. Bags are heavy, stinky. Most of the time it's the guy who, not all the time, but most of the time it's going to be the guy because a woman, her feminine is like, I'm not touching that. I'm not trying to go outside and do that. Like, can you do that?
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that go back to what you were just saying and before the social media time, and it all depends on what you see. Because I'm going to be very honest with you. My one example of marriage when I was growing up were my grandparents. My grandmother worked. My grandpa actually got injured on the job very early before I was even born. And he didn't work the whole time that I was alive and knew him. He didn't have a job. So my grandma was the one who went out and was the breadwinner for their family. And my grandpa took us to school. When my mom worked, my grandpa was the one who came and picked us up, dropped us off, picked us up from school, took us out to lunch, did those traditional, like, womanly things. He was the one who did that. So when I grew up, I never had that frame of mind in my head, and I was raised in a single mom household, so my mom did everything. She took out the garbage, she changed the light bulb, she called the people to fix the thermostat, she was unclogging the toilet, like she did it all. So I didn't have that picture of gender roles, and I believe that, I think that's why when people now say, when you said that, even something was in my stomach, like, what are you about to say? What's a traditional woman role? Because I seen women do it all.
But you're seeing them do that out of absence of a man.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was injured, couldn't work, so she had to. He had to because he was at home. Dad wasn't there, so she had to do everything on her own. When you see those things together, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things she was like, if I didn't have to, I'd prefer not to. Of course, if I got to, you know, I mean, if I got to, I'll make it happen. But I mean, if I don't got to take out the garbage, like, cool, you know what I'm saying? So that's the part where it's like, okay, that's worth discovering and like having a conversation with. Like, are there gender roles that are inherently more masculine or feminine? You know what I mean? Like, if I heard someone come through the back door, like, even if you're willing to jump up and go see who it is, you'd be looking at me crazy if I said, baby, go see who that is. It's somebody coming in the back door. Go see.
You don't do that, but you definitely be like, what was that?
Now here's the thing. You jump up for any noise.
I do, for sure. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I don't do that. Like, I'm like, oh, I know that was something falling over, or that don't sound like somebody in the house. But if I really thought somebody was like, I don't even like taking my contacts out at night under the fear that if it jump off, I need to see. I need to have good vision. You know what I'm saying? I got a blade by my neck. I got a bat in the, like, I don't like, I'm in prepared, but yeah, it's just, there's certain things that I don't want to say this. Present day, I feel like we're rethinking everything.
Yes, absolutely.
For better or worse, we're rethinking everything. Parenting,
gender roles,
bathrooms, should they be assigned to a gender? Like what
makes you a boy?
What makes a boy a boy? What makes a girl a girl? Like everything's up for question.
Yeah.
And I think there are some things that we're getting away from that are just like
sound.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like if 9 times out of 10 men, for whatever reason, muscle density, muscle mass, testosterone, hormone,
sheer girth of a man,
like whatever it is, like for whatever reason, if the man in the relationship is sometimes more physically stronger, with that, there are going to be some things that are easier for him to do, and it's not a slight or a mark.
So would you say that sometimes there at one point there was an idea of a gender role, but now it's more of a certain skill set and where it falls and who does it best, right? I think we talked about that on the live. You said she cooks better than me. So yes, it's maybe a traditional gender role that women cook, but since you're the best person to do it, do it. Yeah,
like with me, it's about practicality. I'm not beholden to any like specific role. Like, don't get me like I never forget. My parents were talking about driving home to Virginia, and my mom told me that my dad never let my mom drive, and if she did, there was a specific part where she could start driving.
Right.
Now, this part that she was allowed to drive was very close to when they arrived back home in Virginia.
Okay.
My mom said he would always make her pull over
so that he
like
could
a block
pull
down
in.
the street so they could switch spots so he could drive into
so he could be seen as the one
He
driving
did not
in.
want to be seen pulling up to the family house with the mama driving.
Oh my goodness.
Now that to me, like I don't think like that.
Right.
I never forget a homie said to me one time, this is my previous marriage, I was sick as a dog. I was actually on my way to same day, what do you call it, emergency?
Urgent care.
Urgent care, yeah. And I was in the front seat like, ugh. And had to stop and get some gas. So my ex-wife was pumping the gas.
Oh, somebody saw you.
My homie Mel saw He said, man, he was disgusted with me. Like, called me to check me. I'm sick. I'm like, hello. He's like, hey, man, you busy? No, I'm not busy. What's up? Man, saw you at the Shell station, man. Why your wife always pumping your gas? I said, always pumping. What are you talking about? I said, y'all butt sitting in the passenger seat. Number one, why is she driving? Number two, why is she pumping the gas, bro? And I said, fam, I was on my way to urgent care. I'm sick, fam. Like, I'm dog sick. He's like, oh, well, I'm pretty sure I've seen it before. I said, bro, you ain't never seen that before. Like, but there is a thing to where it was like, she shouldn't be pumping no gas.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I am a feminist, right?
Yeah.
Women can do everything that men can do. Most of it we can do better. I support that.
Yes.
There will never be a time that we pull up to the gas station and I pump the gas and you're in the car.
Even if I'm sick?
I don't care. Like, I mean, if you sick, I'm probably not going to stop and pump gas. If it's that bad where you got to go to urgent care. I
had a fever of like 103.
Okay, we not stopping to get gas. We're getting you to the emergency room.
We weren't going to make it.
But if you're able-bodied, especially, and if I see that, we saw that. I can't remember where we were. We were at the grocery store, and she was pushing the buggy. He got in the car, and she loaded all the groceries in the trunk. And remember, we had a really long discussion about that because I do believe that there are some things that maybe are not a man's role, but as my protector, my provider, and somebody who is there to help me just as I'm there to help you. Like, if I'm going to cook all the food, if we get home, I'm going to put it up. The least you can do is put it in the trunk. If we pull up and it's cold outside and it's something manual that has to be done outside the car, you can do that as my protector, as the one who's covering, as my covering.
That's what I'm saying.
I do think there are some things that I don't know. I don't know if it's inherent because you're a man. I just think
it's more masculine.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
if I'm gonna
Okay.
if I'm 6 foot tall, and we talked about this when we first got married, and this is a good conversation because when we first got married, there was a lot more context to why you were more driven to do things on your own.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was like, I just don't want to bother you, or is it's like, I'm independent, I do things on my own, I don't need no help.
I mean, I think it's probably a mixture of both.
But I'm 6 foot tall.
Yes.
If you're climbing a chair to reach the top shelf while I'm sitting there, it's like, really? If you like, if I'm sitting right there and you spanking a bottle of the pickle jar, it's like, okay, like, let me just open it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can figure it out. Yes, you'll find a way. And yes, before I got here, you did make a way.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm here, like, just let me serve you in that way. And I think that's where we got to get out of finding offense. And I think that's what blocks us from these things. I think that's what really the deep-seated issue is, because there's been so many people who have weaponized masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, when a woman is treated like a second-class citizen, now when we start having a conversation about feminism, those who have been hurt by the concept of masculinity or toxic masculinity, now doing things without a man becomes a point of pride.
Mm-hmm.
And to prove that you can do it is now a point of pride.
Yeah.
But I just think it's silly. Like, it's dumb to me. It really is. It's like, okay, if we're gonna be together, whoever does it best, then let's just do it.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, Brandy doesn't cook most of the time because she's a woman. She cooks most of the time because she's the best cook in this household. Like, she can burn. So I grew up in a house where my dad mostly cooked.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's normal for me. But like, I wouldn't know her. I'm like, everything she cooks is delicious. Like, why do we gotta suffer to prove a point? Like, if there's a night where you don't want to cook, like, let me know. We'll figure it out. But like, if it's 7 days in a week, we don't have to try to evenly distribute this thing where like you got to cook 3 nights so it's even. No, you're the better cook. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there was a street that you went down that I wanted you to stay on for just a little bit, because you talked about toxic masculinity and how some people have abused that. And now you have that term, toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
It's not just being a man and doing what you're supposed to do. You've made it toxic because you've abused it. But I think there's also a point. I won't call it toxic femininity because I don't believe that that's what it is. But that is a thing, but that's not what I'm talking about. But where women who want to be taken care of in a way that it makes them unproductive. And so I think that saying you expect a man to take care of you is placing a large burden on a man, especially
that is toxic femininity.
Especially one who is not being well compensated. Let's just say that. But you have an expectation that I'm going to sit home and I'm going to take care of this house and make sure that nothing is out of order while you go to work. But he's struggling to make sure that everything is taken care of. And you could get up and work, but you refuse to because you feel like there's a role that you play. A man can get burnt out. A man can feel overwhelmed, he can feel overworked, and he can feel unsupported if he has an able-bodied person there who, if you get up and you work, can contribute to this household, and we could be winning. But because you have an idea of what this is supposed to look like and you won't do that, you're taking advantage of a man who will just be like, all right, I'm going to get up and I'm going to grind every single day for my family because this is what I have to do. But I don't think we as women sometimes realize the burden that just providing for an entire family places on a person.
It is toxic femininity.
I don't think that's toxic femininity.
If the opposite is toxic masculinity. If I were to say, I don't care if you want to work, I'm the man, you're going to stay home and take care of these kids, we would call that toxic masculinity.
Absolutely.
So if the opposite of that is, I'm not doing nothing, you're going to make sure we good, or if not, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. You know, that the opposite of that has to be, if that's toxic masculinity, I
have some ideas of what toxic femininity is, but I agree if you were putting it in this context,
that's bordering the waters of, for lack of a better term, gold digging. It's bordering on those terms. It's different.
Well, I'm not with you for your money. Maybe you don't make a lot of money, but maybe I just feel like as a woman, I should be taken care of.
So not if you come from a home of origin where that's just what you saw. My mom stayed home, my daddy worked, and that's the type of man I want. And I don't think there's anything wrong
Or maybe that's not what
with
you saw.
setting
Maybe
that standard.
your mom worked her butt off and you like, I don't want that. I want to be taken care of.
Yeah, nah. But if you see him struggling, burnout, and your family's living at a lower degree, you're able-bodied, you have a degree, whatever the case may be. If you sit back watching people struggle because you just don't want to work, because your mama worked, it's toxic. And we don't like to use the word. I know that's like taboo because men are the bad guys in this gender world most of the time. But there is such thing as toxic femininity. And I think that's definitely knocking on the door of it. If it's not there, it's definitely at the precipice for sure.
No, but I just wanted to bring that up because I do feel like it as just as that masculine energy can be abused, the feminine energy can be abused too. And I don't think that it's fair that we always, when families go wrong, I think it's usually the man that is to blame. And in this situation that we read, I do think he had a solid point, and I just think his execution and what that should look like is wrong, right? Because he did expect her to play in that traditional role of you take care of the household, you take care of the kids, but you also need to work, which is reality for a lot of women out here. A man can place all of that on her, but still expect her to go out and contribute to the household. And I think that's where we see women get frustrated and like, well, what do I need you for? If I'm going to go out and work, I'm taking care of the kids, I'm taking care of the home. What are you here for? And that's what that situation is. I'm like, well, what does she need you for besides giving her the kids?
Well, if we're just, and this is where I get lost and muddy the waters a little bit. It's like if we're just having an arranged living arrangement, if we're just
I work.
if we're
You
just
take care of the
together
kids, yeah.
to deal with the burden of living life, then yeah, you have no reason to be with me. But what about like love, support, honor
relationship.
of the actual relationship that just
Absolutely.
disappears once you start dealing with life? That's when I hear them conversations be like, what do you mean? What are you with him for? What do I need you for if I gotta do everything by myself? Well, number one, we can work through that, but I hope there's more to your relationship than just the affairs of life. That's a big part. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Huge.
It's hard to be happy with one another when you suffering under the weight of debt and bills.
And you burnt out.
And you burnt out. Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot. But when you got something real, I'm a firm believer that you can work your way through it, find your way through it. And if everybody's heart in that matter is like pure, then 9 times out of 10, you can work through the pride of how you see it. You can work through the disagreement. You can sacrifice a little bit. Like, okay, I know I don't want to, but I come from a home where I seen my parents argue the mess out of each other. But come hell or high water, they was together, up under the same roof. I saw my daddy work 4 jobs at one point, and my mama worked jobs at the same time. Like, I saw them get it. I remember when a family of 5, it was my family 4 and my cousin came moving with us. We had one pickup truck, and it didn't have the back seat. It was that one row, and 5 of us was there on laps on the way to church. Embarrassed trying to get picked up to school because you couldn't open up the door from the outside. You had to reach to the outside. It was so embarrassing. And I seen come from nothing and work the way up.
I was just going to say, what you're describing is, in true essence, a relationship.
That's a relationship.
Most people are looking for a business arrangement. They call it a relationship. They mask it as a relationship, but they're looking for a business arrangement.
Yeah.
How can you benefit me? How can I benefit you? And the relationship aspect is lacking. When you have a true relationship, I believe that the gender roles really disappear, because in a real, true, loving relationship, whatever I can do to make your life easier, I'm going to do. And whatever you can do to make my life easier, you're going to do. So if one day that means you taking care of the kids, whether you just because you're the man, you don't do that. No, you're going to sacrifice and you're going to do that because I need a day off.
Yeah.
If I got to go work my job and I do have to go in 7 days a week, cool. I have the freedom and the space to do that because you know what I'm bringing home benefits our family.
Yeah. There's this guy in the skit was a nincompoop, but he did. I feel like if this was real, I'm still not convinced, but if this was a real conversation, I think a lot of guys like him get triggered by this conversation. And most of the time it be dudes who don't even got a whole lot of money, but they get triggered by the "you're a gold digger" conversation, because I think that's what most men want, is we just want to know that there's somebody in it with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a lot of times women are aware of the pressure that sometimes we put on ourselves. Some comes from society, but I think most societies put men in the category of head of household.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you the man, you're supposed to be a leader in your household. That's not always accurate. That's not always true. There's a lot of men who don't assume that role
Or even know what that means.
or know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that comes with a weight, that comes with a pressure. And it's just so dope to know that there's somebody who's riding with you through it. I'll say this. I'll tell the story a million times.
Don't tell the apartment story. You just told it 2 episodes ago.
I said it on the live that didn't air. So let me just summarize it. One of the moments that like confirmed to me that Brandy was my wife was I was moving out of my apartment, and it was a 3-bedroom townhouse. I had accumulated a lot of stuff. And at the time I had kind of like alienated myself from a lot of my close friends, and I was really like a loner at the time. So there was no one I even felt comfortable asking for help. You know, like, come help me move. I ain't talked to you in months, bro. What I look like asking you to come carry a couch. But with no prompting, no nothing, she showed up and was helping me move stuff. This petite, young, short, barely 5 foot was like picking up, helping me carry couches and dressers and all types of stuff, boxes. And I was like amazed at it, that she was just, and it showed me something like, if I don't have nobody else to call on, I know she's with me. And even now, like, I know she got me. My car crashed. I don't got no way to work. She'll drop me off. You here, take my car. I got it. Like, it's just, I know I'm with, like, there's somebody who's actively doing life with me. And most men fear they'll never have that. Mm-hmm. So when the concept comes up of, what can you do for me? Or you ain't da-da-da, or you're under the microscope. We just talked about this comparison culture. Mm-hmm. You're constantly being compared to what somebody else does, or you watch the social media and, hey, look, he got his girl a LLC. Look, he bought her some land. Like,
definitely got the expectation. Like
this is what.
Where's my land? This ring is nice, but I'm ready for my plot of land.
Look at this ring she got, babe. And the whole time he's just like, I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can. No, I don't got it all together. But women, there's a lot of women who don't know the power that they hold. And oftentimes you are an incomplete picture before you get with the person who God has for you. Because God uses those relationships to refine you, to grow you, to mold you. You see yourself more clearly through your spouse than you will anybody else in the world. So who you are when you got to them is great. And it's cool if you want to consider yourself like, I had it together.
Done.
Come to me, a finished product, because I ain't trying to build you. It's unrealistic. It's unrealistic. No one can grow you outside of God more than the person he assigned to you, more than the person you became one with.
I think too, the problem of like coming to you with as a finished, quote unquote, finished product, that it's like there's no room for change. There's no room for growth.
Yeah.
I don't want to be with you now in 25 years. I don't want the same Russell. Like, I want you to be the person you are at your core, but there's some things that I need to see changing, because I know I'm going to change in 25 years. And if you still stuck at 38 mentally and you 50, however we're going to be in 25 years, it's a mess. Like,
growth is the goal.
I'm gonna be like, you're immature. Like,
growth is the goal.
Yeah. So to me, the finished product can't grow. It's done. It's like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Like, I am who I am, and I'm not willing to change from that.
Crazy thing is, yeah.
But if you come at an open space, like, I see what you have, and I know that there are parts of what you have that I need, that will help me grow, that will help me be a better person. The level of, whether it is real or fake, the level of confidence that I saw in him was one of the things where I was like, I need to be up close on that. I need to have him in my life, because what he has, the way that he walks into a room, the way he commands the stage when he's on stage, I need that. I know there are some things that God is calling me to that I'm scared of, but he's showing me, and by living it out in front of me, that is possible. If I was just like, oh no, I'm good with being who I am, and you came and God is like, this is who I have assigned for you to give you what you need to take you to the next level. But I'm so closed off to that I'm just stuck in being my ways, then I don't grow and I become stagnant. That just seems like a waste of energy, time, and space. Like, I'm with you because you make me better, not because you accept me for who I am.
Nah, for real. And even with the accepting, it's like accepting under the mindset that, like, okay, we're gonna grow.
Yeah,
we're gonna grow and evolve.
There's just some things about me that you shouldn't accept. Like, that you need to be like, hey, I see that in you. I understand you needed that for a certain season of your life. It's not going to work in our relationship, and it's not going to work where God is taking us. So I'm pointing it out so that you can change it. Yeah. I need you for that.
Likewise,
I don't want somebody that's just going to yes me through our relationship, or just provide for me but not counsel me. Just provide for me and not cuddle me at night. Yeah. Just provide for me and don't go and do the stupid stuff that I like to do and find food on a $5 budget, because he's so burnt out from working and providing for me that he don't want to do nothing fun.
Yeah. And most of the time when people say, come to me finished, they're looking at the exterior. But you can have your own house and still not be finished. You can own your own business. You can have wealth. You can make 6 figures a year, have a doctorate, and still not be a complete picture. Do you know how to take accountability? Do you know how to hold a conversation? Do you know how to apologize? Do you know how to be humble? Absolutely. Do you know how to, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many other things to a person other than what they can acquire in this short blip of the life that we have on this side of heaven. It's insane to think that who you are today is who you'll ever be.
Yeah.
And whoever you'll need to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Growth is so important.
And I think too so what the kids say is something so special about getting it out the mud with somebody. Like,
you have to stop saying what the kids say.
That's what the kids say. I don't want to hear.
You sound a real 40.
I don't want nobody to hear it and be like, oh, she trying. No, I know this is what the kids say. The only thing I say naturally is stand on business.
You don't say that naturally. That don't even sound right. Business.
I gotta stand on my business. You know what they say. Anyways, but it is something special about getting it out the mud with somebody. Like, would I have loved it if you came into this picture a multimillionaire? Maybe.
You would have loved it.
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't get to experience it. You was slacking. Maybe I would have. We'll never know.
Maybe. I might have liked that. I'm sure you
I don't know. I'm just guessing. But I mean, it's something special too about the fact that we don't got it all figured out yet. No. And it's the trial and error, like you said, knowing that somebody is by your side, but also like knowing that when we do run into issues, like my son needs $10,000 to go to school, and I'm like, I don't know how we're gonna get it because we don't got it in the bank. Yeah. And you're like, we'll figure it out. We'll make it work. I need somebody to be there to support me through that stuff. And us getting it together, to me, is going to make it all the better when we do have it. I look at LeBron and Savannah, and I know not goals or anything, but I think it's something so special about a relationship that just started from kids, and now we got people around the world looking up to us.
Yeah, but
that's special to me.
But she knew what that was going to
be. She might have. Look, I knew too.
It was 13. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. That was it.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I knew
she
it was
got
something
some
special about
She
you
got
too.
some good aunties. She was like, Don't let
that one go.
Don't you mess that up, baby. You got you a good one now.
You see all these people coming around here looking for him?
Nah, I think my thought left me.
Ooh,
but no, the idea that I know what I was about to say.
I hope so.
I play back conversations in my mind of what the testimony is going to be like when we get older.
Oh, absolutely.
I play those thoughts out in my mind, and I can't wait to talk so big about she's with me when I had nothing. When I told her about the podcast, she ain't want to, but she believed in me. She believed in me, and look. And I mean, even to this day, like, I still feel like that. Like, everything that we've been able to accomplish in the short window that we've been together in our adult life, like, it's all a testament to, number one, walking in obedience to what God has called us to do, praying together. And it's also like it's a trust walk. It's a faith in God and a trust in one another, right? Because there's so many points where everything like, and we had to learn how to do this, work together. Like every little thing, even like how we set up the room today. Like when we're setting the stuff, it's like, hey, yo, I set the chair up like that for a reason. It's like, well, no, I'm doing this. It's like, you know what? She sees something I don't see. And if this is going to be, if everything we do is going to be based on how I see it, it's going to be a mess. But I got to trust the eyes that God blessed me with and the extra set of eyes he gave me. So everything, we had to learn how to work together. The first season, we was arguing about everything. Where the light was, how we was going to edit, where we put the logo in the corner. It was like, okay.
What the Bible say? Had two work together unless they agree. What how it say? How it go? You know the scripture.
How can two work together unless they agree?
Period.
How can two walk together unless they agree?
Period.
We was tripping all over each other in the beginning.
But I think was it's
trust.
Yeah. And that's the big thing that I feel like when we have, I don't fault these two for having that conversation. I just think they had the conversation at the wrong part, because it sounds like they were very new in their situation.
I think it was good she had that conversation, because she's I see you.
I mean,
yeah,
he went off the deep end fast, but I think he was triggered by something. And maybe, who knows? We don't know what people bring into a situation. Maybe he has a lot of money and people have used him in the past. And so when she said, I would love to take care of home and not worry about expenses, that triggered him. But I think what I was trying to go to before you go on a rabbit hole about these people that we don't know, I was trying to say is, when you mention trust, that is the biggest factor in whatever you make work. Because if I can trust the fact that you will take care of our home, you won't use me, and I can take care of everything financially for you, that conversation is much easier to have. But if I don't trust that you're going to be that person, I don't trust that you're just not in it for my money, then when we have that conversation, I'm like, oh, she a gold digger because she said expenses. All I said is I want a woman to stay home and take care of the kids. I ain't say nothing about paying all the bills. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that, like you said, having the trust in a relationship, not jumping in a relationship with any and everybody just because of what they can do for you, but really building a solid foundation. And then you can decide what your family look like. We don't have the answers to it all. We both work hard. Well, kind of hard. He worked harder than I do. I ain't gonna lie, but we both work for this to work. Right. And I think that's what works for us. It don't have to be what works for everybody.
Yeah. I was going to say, when you were talking about that little conversation, and this applies to everybody. Well, it applies to everyone who wants the traditional model. If you want the traditional gender role or the traditional standards, then you need to make sure you're fulfilling the part yourself. Like this dude, if you asking for her to stay at home, maintain the house, make sure the kids are straight, cook every night, make sure the house is clean, then you need to make sure you're filling the other part of the role. Because the version of the woman that did that did not work 40 hours a week. She did not do that. All she did was maintain the household. And that man worked to the degree that she didn't have to work. So if that's what you want, you got to fulfill the other role. And if you're the woman who don't want to work and you land a dude who make buku money, you better be willing to keep the house clean. Because if all you want to do is have Amazon packages show up every day and have Prime running back and forth, but the house nasty, that's like, hold on, what we doing here? It's like, if you want to be in that, you got to make sure you hold down your part. That's all I'm saying.
And I would like to say too that in 2023, I think our definition, you said we trying to redesign everything, but I think our definition of what traditional does need to change, because I don't think that that's traditional anymore. I don't think that that's the traditional role. And I believe that people
it's not the modern role.
Yeah.
Well,
what's the difference?
Traditional is based in past patterns.
But it's like the tradition that you've seen, right? It's not like, is there an American tradition? Maybe
I don't know how many far back it goes, but I will say it's not
tradition. It's not the tradition for me. like, or anyone in my family. I don't know a time, maybe back in the 30s or something, but before my grandma was born, my great grandma didn't work. I don't know, but for all that I've known, all the women in my family have worked, and the men did so also. It was a shared thing, so it's not my tradition. So to say I want the traditional family role, it would be what we have. We're both working.
Yeah.
So that's what
he wanted that, but he also didn't want to do no housework or cook no meals, and that's just crazy to me. like,
so all you want to do is work?
He wanted that. Like, I want you to do everything in this house, and we both work. That don't work.
And he wanted her to still look good. First of all, if I'm working, taking care of the
Keep up
house
your
and the
appearance.
kids, keeping up my appearance is the last
Where
thing
the
that I'm
gym
trying to
at?
do.
When is she going to the gym in this scenario? And pumping out kids high?
Yeah, it make it make sense. It wasn't making a lot of sense. And a lot of us do have unrealistic expectations, and I think talk them out with somebody else before you put them on your girlfriend or boyfriend. Make sure it makes sense out loud, because everything sounds good in your head. I'm sure he was like, yeah, I want me a woman who. But once you say that out loud and you realize that the other end of that is like, I'm not going to be all the other things that you need me to be if you're not helping me with the things in the house. He didn't realize that. He made a mistake.
He made a mistake.
Now he's sending the you up text and getting ghosted.
Man. Now he's seeing that post come up on the Facebook.
On Facebook, he's like,
nah, she didn't post it. I want to say something, but I don't want nobody to notice me.
I'm about to go read all the comments. See if he in there. Like, man, I didn't know she was going to do that.
He's not in there. He is laying low. If it's real, I'm not convinced.
I think it's real. I've been in enough scenarios with that type of man where I believe that it's real.
Yikes. Girls got a rough.
Nah, boys got a rough. We all got a rough out here.
I don't.
Well, you got lucky. You blessed. Thank God.
You got a rough?
Huh?
Maybe I do got a rough. Maybe I am struggling out there.
I don't got it rough.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
I don't. I know.
Gracious.
You're a good husband. You're a good man.
We're a good team.
And I appreciate you because you have opened my eyes to a lot. And I appreciate you.
That's what's up. What else we opening up?
Ask R&B is open up. We would like
to
do.
Be nasty.
I know. We would like to do another segment. So we are opening up our inbox. We are opening up our email.
Ooh, is that the next episode?
Hopefully. Well, I don't know. I said this, I think, an episode ago, and nobody gave us no questions.
I feel like we got to start announcing this in the beginning of the episode because it's only the real G's that can make it to this point. And y'all should be the ones writing in. Y'all the real WTNTU listeners.
Well, listen, we are taking suggestions, comments, questions, and topics for the next segment of Ask R&B. Write in with all your questions that you want us to address live right here on the What They Never Told Us podcast. You can inbox us on Facebook, YouTube,
and at what they never told us pod at
Instagram. I was trying to think of
there you go.
TikTok. We are at What They Never Told Us pod on all of those platforms, or you can email us at whattheynevertolduspod@gmail.com. And if you have our personal numbers, text us, shoot us a message. We would be happy to discuss it anonymously right here on the pod.
That's it. Lord willing, we will see you on YouTube. Hopefully you're seeing this right now. If not, and you're listening to the audio, God knows we tried, y'all. God knows we tried.
All right, y'all. We're about to take off, so always remember. Every time, y'all, I need y'all to go back and count every time that I have tried to close out this podcast, and he talks over me every single time. What is it?
You know, I've been doing this thing where I say something before, and you was about to take that away from me, and I really didn't appreciate it.
You gave a lot of great advice in this episode. I don't think we need it anymore.
You'll like this one. I got the green light.
You're going to do it anyways. You already ruined my outro, so go ahead.
I am. Listen, y'all, before you talk to your mama about it, before you post it on Facebook, before you talk to the homie or the home girl, pray about it. And always remember, we love love.
Yeah, I should love too.
She didn't want to like it, but she did. It's good advice, right?
It's good advice, but wow. You just stepped on what I was trying to do.
You
your
stepped
own
on my thing. I've
And
been doing it.
Feels really selfish.
I've been
Anyways,
doing it. You
y'all,
stepped.
we
So
will
technically,
see
who stepped
y'all
on whose thing?
Thursday.
Who stepped on whose
8:30,
thing?
8 p.m. live,
Now she don't wanna
Facebook
talk.
and
See.
YouTube. Peace.
Peace.